Welcome to Bold Voices, a production of the Community Foundation of Broward, where we explore Broward's biggest issues, get to know some of the people and organizations creating a bold impact in our community, and take a deeper dive into the world of local philanthropy with the experts at the Community Foundation of Broward. And now it's time to be bold.
Thank you for joining us on Bold Voices, a podcast production of the Community Foundation of Broward. I'm your host, Ellen Jaffe. As Hispanic Heritage Month is approaching a close, we want to get the perspective of someone who has seen the evolution of the Hispanic community in Broward County up close. And for that, I am so happy to turn to the President, CEO of Hispanic Unity of Florida, who are based here in Broward County since 1982. Although, Felipe Pinzón, you've been President and CEO for, is it 3 years now?
Ellen, thank you for having me. Yeah, actually, it's going to be in December 4 years.
Okay, congratulations. We haven't spoken since then, and I'm so happy to talk to you again. I know things evolve over time. One of the things that really has not changed for Hispanic Unity is your mission and your vision. The mission, empowering immigrants and others to become self-sufficient, productive, and civically engaged. And the vision, everyone is empowered to live the American dream. I just love that. How does Hispanic Unity accomplish this mission?
Ellen, thank you again for the opportunity. So what we do is that we have a strong service delivery strategy in place. We have always encouraged our clients to continue growing professionally. So we have a beautiful vocational training program where our clients learn the skills they need to get in high-paying jobs, join companies that have a career pathway, and of course, offer the benefits, that every single family need and deserve. That's one way to do it. But we also know that not everyone wants to join traditional employment. Many immigrants and Latinos come to the United States with great entrepreneurial ideas. They want to become, business owners. So we have a very strong program for those that aspire to become business owners, but as well for those that already have some revenues and have been in business for a few years. So we're providing the mentorship, the education, the one-on-one. And lately, as we know, that access to capital is number one issue for many business owners. So we are also preparing our clients to get loan ready so they can go to CDFIs or financial institutions and acquire some of the capital they need to grow their businesses. Those are just simple ways of helping our community. But of course, we have a wraparound service strategy in place as well, English classes, family strengthening, parenting skills.
Is there a typical client that comes to you? I mean, I understand the variety of Hispanics in South Florida is very wide. People from really all over the world, particularly Central America, South America. And of course, when you started in 82, I would guess that the majority of your clients were from Cuba shortly after the Mariel boat lift. So who really comes to you?
You're absolutely right. Many clients come to Hispanic Unity. By the way, even though we're Hispanic Unity of Florida, happy to report that we serve everyone in our community. So if someone needs help, feel free to join Hispanic Unity, join one of the programs. Happy to help. But to answer your question, Cubans, Colombians, Venezuelans, Puerto Ricans are usually, clients that come to Hispanic Unity. But we serve, all clients from more than 32 different countries. If I want to give you specifics, 70% of our clients are women. So we know that they do not hesitate to reach out for support. Many of them are mothers. Many of them are single mothers, which is troubling, of course. We know that they are a struggle. Those to me actually are my superheroes, hardworking individuals, raising children, really hard work ethic. And they come seeking many services, but sometimes they don't know that they need a lot more than just one single service. So they end up enrolling in what we call, an integrated approach. So they come for employment, but we also provide some financial education, access to benefits, and a lot more. So they actually can live with a very strong, approach to address their own issues.
You have so many success stories. You can go to your website, HispanicUnity.org, and see stories of people who have used that entrepreneurship program and started their own business. People who have been homeless and transitioned to home ownership, nothing temporary, but permanent home ownership. And in some way, you yourself are a beneficiary of the program. With how many years is it now, aside from your almost 4 years as CEO?
I joined Hispanic Unity as a client in 2000 when I had just arrived to the United States. Someone told me about Hispanic Unity, stopped by, enrolled myself in English classes. 2 years later, I got hired and I was given, opportunities. And then fast forward, here I am. And I think that what I receive is what I owe to this community and is giving, people access and opportunity so they can actually shine and grow as well and provide for their own families. Yes, by the way, talking about the website is brand new, refreshed, beautiful website that provides so much information about what Hispanic Unity does every single day for the community. So if anyone, needs services, please visit our website. They will find what they need.
Now, one of the things you do every year is tax preparation services for anyone who needs it. And, when the rules and regulations change on a yearly basis, it's really important to have people who know what they're doing to help you. So again, HispanicUnity.org, an amazing resource, whether you are Hispanic or not. I mentioned we're, at the end of Hispanic Heritage Month. What is it about Hispanic Heritage Month that you think brings the Broward community together and makes them stronger?
We usually get together to celebrate music, our food, traditions, the culture. But what I believe, Ellen, is that this is a year-round celebration, and it should also celebrate those who are in positions of leadership, those who are at hospitals, taking care of others. So Hispanics across, the nation and in Broward County, by the way, they total about 630,000. And it's about 33% of total county population. And they are in different industries, providing support to others, whether they are the doctors again, the firefighters, or those actually putting food on the table. So very proud of their contributions. And going back to taxes, by the way, that's one simple way of showing, how much they care about their community. These are hardworking people that come to Hispanic Unity to actually take care of one of their responsibilities, which is to pay, their taxes. And yes, we complete those for about 5,000 families every single year. And for Latinos who are in position of leadership, this is a great time, during Hispanic Heritage Month to remind everyone that those who have accomplished some level of, career success, we also have the responsibility to continue elevating others, right? And making sure that everyone has that access and that opportunity, whether it's a CEO or elected official. Our job is to continue making sure that this is a strong community. So we celebrate, the homeowners that came to Hispanic Unity, and now, yes, they have a house and they have a place to live and is safe. But we also celebrate those that actually are getting jobs, that are starting businesses and so on. So a beautiful moment to actually sort of share with our community, what the Latino and Hispanic community do and represent in Broward County.
Well, in Broward, we have been an integrated community for so long that, for me anyway, it is normal to see all different kinds of people in leadership positions. And I love that you bust the stereotype that I think people in other places have about who are immigrants, because it's not just people. The first thing you hear is, oh, they're using our services and giving nothing. And obviously that is not the case. What more could you say to destroy those myths, bust those myths about our immigrants in America?
I can start by saying, Ellen, that about 4.1 $1 trillion, represent the Latino GDP in the United States. If we were to be a country, we will be the 5th largest country in the world. That means a lot. That means, again, small businesses, large businesses owned by Latinos across the nation that are providing goods and services to the community. Of course, we face some challenges, but I have to tell you that 98, 99% of Latinos are really hardworking people. And again, they come to Hispanic Unity seeking access and opportunities, and they never hesitate actually to jump from receiving some support to actually being financially independent. And I really want to highlight that because yes, they do come sometimes in crisis, asking for support to put on the table to provide for their children. But these are people that actually don't want to receive those benefits anymore. They really want to actually have a job that allows them, to buy the food and the goods they need, to provide for their families. Or they have, again, start a business or learn the language so they can actually be more productive and contribute to this economy. So that's what I can say, Ellen. And there is no better way actually to showcase Hispanic Unity's work than having someone interested in learning more. Visit Hispanic Unity, more than happy to provide tours, share more information, make presentations. And we have so much support, across the state. By the way, in a Republican supermajority state, we are very proud to say that both parties, really support Hispanic Unity. And the reason is because our job is to make sure clients become financially stable and financially independent. And we have been very successful in doing so for the last 43 years.
Well, when you say $4.1 trillion GDP, I start thinking about our deficit and the debt, and I'm like, oh, that can help knock that down and that and that. Whether it's statewide or nationwide, obviously, it's a huge contribution. How have things changed? You did a big report in 2022 about the state of Hispanics in Broward County. Can you address a little bit about that report, what it showed, and where we are today?
Just in 2021, we worked very close with the Metropolitan Center out of Florida International University and the Urban Elite of Broward County. And this report that was released early in 2022. And the report was a snapshot of those disparities in Black and Brown communities, whether it was in the healthcare space or the economy or housing. And some of the major findings, Ellen, and I don't think that it was a surprise. I think that it was shocking to know how serious these issues are, right? So despite Latinos being in the workforce in numbers higher than any other race and ethnicity, Latinos continue to be in entry-level jobs. So their household income, annual household income, is way less than the white population. And the question Hispanic Unity has always tried to answer is, how can we continue helping families close that income gap? And at some point, how can they start actually building wealth, whether it's business ownership or home ownership? We also saw that almost 20% of Latinos in Broward County didn't have any type of health insurance. So access to health was a major issue. And we know how that impacts, a family. If a family cannot see a doctor and someone gets sick and that person gets sick and cannot go to work tomorrow and the person is an entry-level job, most likely that person will not receive payment for that day that couldn't go to work, and how that impacts families. So we know that everything is connected. Housing, even though Latinos continue to increase becoming homeowners, we have seen that over the last few years. What we found in 2022 is that only 49% of Latinos in Broward County were homeowners. And that's lower than any other race. And our job over the last few years is, how do we make sure that more Latinos become homeowners? Great to say that across the nation, 70% of the people, the new homeowners, happen to be Latinos. So that's across the nation. We have to improve that in Broward County. And there are other issues that we're trying to address, of course, making sure that Latinos who are citizens, immigrants who are citizens, also register to vote. That's another responsibility. And then go out and vote, right? And we don't tell anyone how to do it, but our job over the last 3 years is to make sure that numbers continue to increase. People are more civically engaged, understand, how important it is to go out and vote, and what that could mean, for the entire community.
Is that part of you do citizenship classes for immigrants who want that path to citizenship? And I think most do. That's the reason they come here. It's the American dream. First, can you define Hispanic Unity's version of the American dream?
Oh, thank you. That's a beautiful question. And it's a question I have tried to answer myself. It's a question that collectively we have tried to answer as well. And I want to start by saying that the American dream is defined in different ways by our clients, right? And someone may come to Hispanic Unity, again, wanted to be a citizen. By the way, that's my American dream, my own American dream. And I'm glad that I have been a citizen of this beautiful country for the last 15 years. But someone may say is owning a business. Someone else, is home ownership. Someone else is all together. So a Hispanic Unity will let people, dream, and we meet people where they are. So we support, their goals and dreams. in any way we can. So that's how we do it. Ellen is very different by family, by person. But at the end of the day, we want to be successful. We want to make sure that our families thrive. And more importantly, we want to make sure that we are also contributing to the society. So most Latinos, they are enrolled in civic associations, other groups, they're also giving back. They understand that they have received so much, and they also have the responsibility to actually help others. So that's how we define it.
Yeah. And for me, I would add that it's the freedom to live our lives as we wish, obviously, without breaking any laws. But I think most Americans, that's not an issue, breaking the law. It's a small percentage.
That's a great point, Elena. I'm sorry for interrupting, because most Latinos actually come to the United States seeking freedom and dignity. Sometimes, those things we lost in our countries, right? And yes, some take it for granted. They have lived, in a strong democracy forever. For Latinos, of course, that's part of what we're looking for when we come to this beautiful country.
Well, you mentioned Venezuelans as a large portion of your clientele, and I can't let that go without mentioning the loss of TPS, of the Temporary Protective Service, for them. And, we've recently seen deportations, particularly the Venezuelans have been at the top of the list for deportations. How does that change how you are dealing with your people?
Ellen, I'll start, by saying that we totally support, the deportation of anyone who comes to the United States and doesn't follow the law, right? That we agree with 100%. But I also want to say that 99% of Latinos immigrants, and in this case, Venezuelans, are really hardworking people. And TPS holders are almost in every single industry. I have to tell you, 6 of them work for Hispanic Unity, and I cannot say anything about them, but just great things. Smart, huge commitment. They want to go the extra mile, and they are so important to the organization. For us, it's really hard to see how not just the 6 that work for Hispanic Unity, but the thousands, almost 600,000 across the nation will have to leave the country if the White House decides to terminate, TPS. We know that the Supreme Court, gave green light to the White House. It was very sad news for all of us. Very difficult. These are people, who have children now in the United States who actually were born in the United States, in the last 3, 4, 5 years. So those children will also have to leave this country, which is just heartbreaking.
We have a lot of prayers for everyone in your community and in our community who is facing the potential loss of their home and separation from their family. And I hope that this will be a phase that passes and that you get through safely. You obviously need support from the community to continue to do the work that you do. And I know the Community Foundation of Broward has been active in working with Hispanic Unity, and some of their community builders, like the Miniaci Family, has been so active in Broward County and at the Community Foundation of Broward. They give a very high level of charity, and Hispanic Unity is one of a couple of dozen organizations that they specifically highlight that they want to support. In what other ways has the Community Foundation been able to lift you and help you keep doing what you're doing?
Ellen, I'm so grateful to the Miniaci family. Beatriz and Albert have been nothing but fantastic ambassadors and champions of the work Hispanic Unity does. In fact, they're supporting our workforce vocational training program. They want to make sure more clients, more Latino families get the skills they need so they can get in high-paying jobs. But besides the Miniaci family, through the Community Foundation, is the Community Foundation itself. So extremely grateful also to their leadership team. Jennifer has been amazing to Hispanic Unity, and they're supporting our Center for Working Families. So thanks to the Community Foundation, we have clients that come to Hispanic Unity in facing a major financial hardship or crisis. And thanks to the Community Foundation, we have been able to move those people from being in a crisis enterprises to be now stable by securing jobs and at some point, of course, having a balanced budget and at some point being able to save money and then start building assets. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is all about. Self-sufficiency can be only accomplished the moment our clients have income that they can save and own a house or start a business or have dollars in their savings account. So the Community Foundation is supporting those two projects, at this point. But for the last 20 years, we have received so much support. Back in the day, even health programs were supported by the foundation. So extremely grateful, for that trust and continued support over the years.
Your goals are very much in alignment when you talk about a thriving community. That's one of the key things in what the Community Foundation does. And whether it's through education, which you do, whether it's through healthcare assistance, which you do, or becoming a homeowner or a business owner, or just finding really good work. And I love how you always say high paying. You're not looking just to put people in a job, any job. You want them to succeed and be self-sufficient. And that really is very much a part of the American dream. Regardless of where you come from, what you look like, what color your skin is, we all want those things. And many people struggle, again, regardless of the way the housing market has been the last few years. They talk about our teachers, our firefighters, how difficult it is for the average person to make ends meet because housing has become so difficult. So again, by seeking high-paying jobs, you help with housing. And when you have housing, you can keep a family together and everything becomes easier. So you and the Community Foundation partnering makes an enormous difference in our community. And again, I invite anyone who's looking for any of these services that we've mentioned to please go to HispanicUnity.org and find out about pre-K for your children, or the Center for Families, or support in starting your own business. What have I missed that you do? You're in the community so much. Are there any other things you want to mention?
Just to finalize today's conversation, Ellen, is self-sufficiency is important to Hispanic community. It's part of our mission, and organizations that actually really focus on helping families become financially independent start early. And what I mean by that is we provide services to our preschool children. We provide services to middle and high school children. And our job continues to be very important when it comes to getting these children ready for what comes after graduating from high school. And that to me is extremely important. That's the next generation, of course, of Americans. And that's Hispanic community's focus. And we decided to double down on that and make sure our children continue to succeed. That got to be goal and priority number one for everyone in our community.
Okay, it's a beautiful goal. And I encourage people to not only seek assistance if it's what you need, but to support Hispanic Unity, whether directly, go to the website, HispanicUnity.org, or you want to start your own fund at the Community Foundation and see it build year after year in perpetuity, go to cfbroward.org. Felipe Pinzón, President, CEO of Hispanic Unity. It is such a joy to talk to you. And I love the example that you set personally and that you inspire in your employees in really focusing on community and stability for members of our community. So thank you. And I wish you an easy year.
Thank you so much, Ellen.
Thank you for listening to Bold Voices, the podcast production of the Community Foundation of Broward. Again, to find out more about Felipe and Hispanic Unity, visit HispanicUnity.org or cfbroward.org.
Thank you for listening to Bold Voices. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and hope you'll be inspired to join us in creating a better Broward for all. If you'd like more information, visit us online at cfbroward.org, and remember to always be bold.